Hi, this is János, it's Real World Audio, and today is the time to talk about cables, about speaker cables, and what to do if your cable is too long and you don't want to cut it shorter. Then how can you spool them or wind them together so they do not just flop around. So as you can see, what I have done here is that I have a very long speaker cable that's 3 meters long, and what I did is that I tied it together with a piece of cotton. And why I did that, it's because if I have like 3 meters of cables running all around, first of all, that's like an excellent excellent toy plaything for the cats, and I wouldn't be too happy with that. And the other thing is that if I have that field of cables all around, I cannot get close to my turntable, so or anywhere close to there, or change the volume or switch it between CD and turntable. So basically I want to be able to use my system and just get there. That's one consideration why you might want to keep your speaker cable under control if it's too long. And of course I have enough knowledge to cut those cables shorter. But why did I want to do that? It's because this is not the final place for these speakers. I want to move them to a different place, and there they will need that long speaker cable, and that's why I am using it for now. Also, one more shady reason for using them is that this cable is like really long, and it's super skinny. So basically I'm using a worst case scenario, how these speaker cables, how these speakers can be driven using speaker cables which are really not that supportive to give them a good bass, a good mid bass or even deep bass, because there's only a single run of gauge 20 silver wire feeding each of them, and that's very little current. And of course we are using only a single driver, there's no crossover, so it's a little bit easier, and it's an 8-ohm driver that doesn't have impedance dips to drive me crazy current land, but still I was a little bit curious how will they respond to such a treatment which is not really conductive for them to have a very healthy, big, rich mid bass. And despite those circumstances, their mid basses, I would think I would describe them as excellent. And certainly the mid bass and deep bass does not overshadow the rest of the sound spectrum, but I cannot find anything in it that's against my taste, because it's clean, it's nice, it's beautiful, and I don't notice it in a way that it's not intruding, it's not creating a showy secondary effect. But it lets the music just flow as it is without special enforcement to any region at all. Anyway, today this is time to talk about the cables, and as you see, those cables are tied together, but it's very important how you tie them, and indeed I had a question, why did I tie them together? Isn't it bad for the sound? Well, the answer for that is it depends how you tie them together. It can be worse for the sound, or in my case it can have a positive effect on the sound, because I have 3 meters of cables. If it's just running all over the place, I have the power cord running up there and everything. Now in this scenario, if I have the speaker cable just snaking around everywhere, it's going to pick up noise from somewhere, but it's bound to pick up noise from all of those cables around. So it's not a good situation. It's a better situation to keep it neat and tidy. And if you want to keep it neat and tidy, then the bad thing that you can do is if you coil it like this. So when you have a wire and you coil it up, and now you would just tie them together here. Now this is the terrible scenario that you want to avoid for speaker cables interconnects. And why is that? Because when you make a coil, it is an inductor. So what it's going to do, it is going to cut off your high frequencies. So you are introducing a filter network between your amplifier and your loudspeaker when you coil it like that. And you can avoid it if instead of coiling it this way, well, I will use a different tool because this is easier. So now what you have here, that is not a round wire like this. So you see, when you have a round cable, that's what people tend to coil up together, right? Because it's easy to coil and it's neat. But it's going to cut off your high frequencies. Now, that actually can be a powerful tool for you. If you find that the high frequencies are too much in your system or they're disturbing your ear and you have long enough cables, you can try introducing a few loops into your speaker cables or interconnects, and you will hear that your high frequencies are diminishing and maybe they won't hurt your ears so much. So you can use it to your advantage if you must. However, if your highs are perfect and you are going to loop your cables, you can expect that your highs will get compromised. So how not to compromise the highs is if you not loop them. So if you just fold it on itself and then fold this way again and then fold it like this. So you create a nice fold. So it's not looping, just folding. And when you do these folds, it does not have an inductive effect. However, what it has is, what you are seeing now is we are creating a capacitor. You see, between one flat and another flat, there is capacitance between those layers. Again, capacitance, capacitance, capacitance. So if you have a round cable and you try to loop it like this, then you will increase the capacitance between your conductors. However, in that case, I don't know if you can see it from here or not, so I will use this as an example. I have one of the wires running here at the very edge of this flat thingy, and the other conductor at the opposite end. So one running here and the other running there. So if I am looping them together, then the negative and the positive wires, they are not getting any closer to each other. So and what I'm doing is I'm inducing a capacitance between itself. So the positive, positive, and the negative, negative. And I can wind any much layers anyhow as I want. I will not increase the capacitance between the positive and the negative connectors. So that's a neat thing that with this kind of hookup, I mean, fastening, if you have a flat cable, like a flat line, like a Nordost or something like that, then it might work. But actually for Nordost, if you have like one that's like a flat line cable, if you have the negative positive wires alternating, then yes, by doing this you will be introducing a lot of extra capacitance between the wires. So there you are going to have a decrease in the sound quality with that. But if you used my speaker cable and you have the positive negatives on the opposite side of the wire. If you are using this zigzag loop, then you will be fine and you will not be compromising the sound quality. So this was just a little video of that, what you can do, what will work, and also if you want to tie your cables together, it depends on your cables whether you can tie it or not. And if you've been listening to this video, then by now you have realized that this winding scheme that I did with the cable tie works only with this speaker cable, where it's a flat cable and the positive and the negative are at the opposite edges of that flat, basically at the sides. If you have the positive negative alternating, or you have the round cable, then this will not work really. So thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.